In this lesson, we explore Azure Storage. Storage in Azure means persisting data in reliable, scalable, and secure ways. The AZ-204 exam dedicates 15 to 20% of its content to storage. Understanding when to use Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, relational databases, tables, and queues is essential. Why is storage important for developers? Because every application reads, writes, and manages data. Choosing the right storage solution affects performance, cost, scalability, and availability. Mini review: storage equals persistence of data. In Azure, the main services are Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, SQL Database, Table Storage, and Queue Storage. What is Blob Storage? It is Azure's object storage for unstructured data. You can store text, binary, images, video, backups, and large files. What are the types of blobs? Block blobs for files, append blobs for logs, and page blobs for virtual hard disks. How do you access blob storage? With SDKs, REST APIs, or the Azure Storage Explorer tool. What about redundancy? Options include locally redundant storage, zone redundant storage, geo-redundant storage, and red access geo-redundant storage. How to secure blob storage? Use shared access signatures, role-based access control, and managed identities instead of embedding keys. Mini review: blob storage is best for large, unstructured data, with multiple redundancy and security options. What is Cosmos DB? It is a globally distributed multi-model database service. It supports document, key value, graph, and columnar data models. Why use Cosmos DB? It offers single-digit millisecond latency, elastic scalability, automatic indexing, and global distribution with multi-region rights. What is a container in Cosmos DB? A container holds items such as JSON documents. Each container is partitioned for scalability. What is partitioning? Data is divided by a partition key. Choosing the right partition key ensures balanced distribution and performance. What are consistency levels? Cosmos DB offers 5: strong, bounded staleness, session, consistent prefix, and eventual. They trade off performance and consistency. How to query Cosmos DB? With SQL-like syntax against JSON documents. Mini review: Cosmos DB is a global, multi-model NoSQL database with partitioning, consistency levels, and automatic scalability. What is Azure SQL Database? It is a managed relational database based on the SQL Server engine. It is ideal for structured data with relational integrity. What features does it offer? Automatic backups, scaling, high availability, threat detection, and advanced security. Deployment models: single database for isolated apps, elastic pools for multiple databases sharing resources, and managed instances for near full SQL Server compatibility. How do developers interact with SQL Database? Using a DoNet, Entity Framework, or any library that connects to SQL Server. What about authentication? SQL authentication with usernames and passwords, or Azure AD integration for managed identities. Mini review: SQL Database is the go-to relational store in Azure, with managed performance, security, and scaling. What is table storage? It is a NoSQL key value store for semi-structured data. Entities are grouped into partitions for scalability, ideal for fast lookups with large amounts of simple data. What is queue storage? It provides reliable messaging between application components. Each message can be up to 64 kilobytes, and queues can hold millions of messages. What is a common scenario for queues? A front-end app places jobs in a queue. A back-end worker processes them asynchronously. This decouples components and improves scalability. Mini review: table storage equals simple NoSQL. Queue storage equals reliable messaging for decoupled systems. What is Azure Files? It provides fully managed file shares in the cloud accessible via SMB or NFS protocols. It can be mounted by Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. What is Azure Disk Storage? It provides persistent disks for virtual machines, with options such as standard HDD, standard SSD, and premium SSD. Exam tip: while files and disks are important in real projects, the AZ-204 exam emphasizes more on blobs, Cosmos DB, and queues. Mini review: files provide shared file systems, disks provide VM persistence, but exam weight is smaller. How do you secure Azure Storage? First, avoid using account keys directly. Instead, use Azure AD authentication and managed identities. What about access policies? Shared access signatures allow temporary and limited access to storage resources. Encryption: Azure automatically encrypts data at rest. You can also use customer managed keys in Key Vault. Role-based access control: assign roles such as storage blob data reader or contributor to users, groups, or managed identities. Mini review: security in storage means managed identities, RBAC, encryption, and shared access signatures. Scenario 1: you need to store videos uploaded by users. Solution: Blob Storage with content delivery network integration. Scenario 2: you need a highly scalable global database for JSON documents. Solution: Cosmos DB with partitioning. Scenario 3: you need a relational backend for an enterprise app. Solution: Azure SQL Database with elastic pools. Scenario 4: you need decoupled messaging between microservices. Solution: Queue Storage or Service Bus. Scenario 5: you need a simple key value store for metadata. Solution: Table Storage. Mini review: always align scenarios with the right storage service. Best practice 1: choose the right storage type for the workload. Do not misuse SQL for blobs or blobs for relational data. Best practice 2: secure data with managed identities, RBAC, and encryption. Best practice 3: design for scalability. Partition Cosmos DB wisely. Use queues to decouple components. Best practice 4: implement redundancy based on business needs. Use geo-redundancy for critical workloads. Best practice 5: monitor storage performance and costs using Azure Monitor and Metrics. Mini review: best practices equal matching service to scenario, securing access, scaling correctly, redundancy, and monitoring. Review time: storage is 15 to 20% of the AZ-204 exam. You must know Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, SQL Database, Table Storage, and Queue Storage. Blob Storage: unstructured data, block append, page blobs, redundancy, secured with SAS and RBAC. Cosmos DB: globally distributed NoSQL, partitioning, consistency levels, SQL-like queries, multiple APIs. SQL Database: managed relational database, authentication with Azure AD, automatic backups, scaling, and security. Table Storage: key value NoSQL. Queue Storage: reliable messaging for decoupling apps. Azure Files and Disks: file shares and persistent VM storage, less emphasized in exam. Security: always use managed identities, RBAC, encryption, and temporary access with SAS. Scenarios: pick the right service based on data type, scale, and architecture. Final note: mastering storage means knowing when to use each service, how to secure it, and how to scale it.